congratulations and thanks for being here in London. It's a big effort for them to come straight to Raindance. First, I would like just to ask a couple of questions to them, and I would like to give the word to the audience. Rezeta, hello.
Hello.
I want to ask how hard or how easy it was to represent a role about yourself, because Rezeta, it's her actual name, and Rezeta is the model as in the film.
Well, I mean, saying hard or easy, it's a little bit tough because obviously playing yourself, it's easy, but whenever it came down to those scenes where, you know, you had to act, and especially because we had, like all the actors, we had no acting experience at that time, it was a little bit complicated, but you know, I mean, with Frias, we took step by step each and every scene and we worked through it together. We talked about it, and obviously where the hard scenes came, which is obviously, you know, the breakup and all that, because everything after that was a bit harder because, yeah, you had to emotionally prepare yourself. And it was interesting to explore that part of yourself and see what you can get out of yourself, and like those emotions, and see how much you can pull yourself and push yourself to. And it was beautiful, and Frias was a great director, and I think we both just like really worked at it together, and we were both so like, I mean, he was super open about everything, and he said, okay, what do you need? I would say I need a dark room and I can just close myself into and just like listen to the saddest music and daydream on and like get into that. And obviously he was very open to collaborating with me on that, and it was beautiful. I mean, yeah, what do you think about that? I think
playing yourself?
Yeah, how was it? Pushing me to those dark places and dark moments. I mean, you pushed me into it, and he was great. And I think you do have to have some sort of relationship with your director, especially in a movie like this where you're kind of playing yourself, but you're not. You know, I mean, the love story isn't real, so I didn't fall in love with Alex, but I had to fall in love with him. I did fall in love with him in the movie. You know what I mean? It's like he was my lover and he was my boyfriend, and the breakup was true, and I felt those emotions, and the fight was real, and like all that anger, and I mean, it was beautiful. So yeah.
Now, Fernando, your movie is so fresh. It gives us freshness with all the characters. As Rezeta was saying, she was playing herself, and all of the other actors, they were playing about themselves, right? Their own roles. It's their actual professions. So tell us about that idea that you came out to give us that freshness in the film.
Well, yeah, I think the freshness, yeah, if there's it has to do with the fact of everybody like kind of, I wouldn't say like playing themselves, but being able to represent something very close to them, or make fun of them, you know, like the intellectual guy, you know, like he's a writer, like he's not like that, of course, you know, like everybody's there, like some friends are playing like roles of like when they're criticizing this like socially conscious musician, like friends who actually live that. So it was more like selecting those ingredients, and I think for this film it was all about, trying to think about the question regarding freshness. I think I was about to commit myself to 3 years of studying dramatic structure like in a very formal way. So I just wanted to, before I did that, going to school, I wanted to make a film like completely intuitively, you know, so selecting these ingredients, and I think this is also related with the question you asked before about like Rezeta playing herself. I think in many ways we will just let the camera roll. You know, we were lucky enough to be able to do that, and sometimes like playing tricks, like saying like Rezeta wouldn't, like not knowing that this was the fighting scene, or like the guy didn't know that it was the kiss scene, you know, like so, and then you get one take and it's as good as it gets, but also like a lot of improvisation. I mean, this is a film that regardless of the time that we put on really making it, it's like I think based on my relationship with these people. You know, Alex is one of my best friends. You know, and I mean I tried to cast someone else, someone different, and because I was embarrassed of asking him. And he read it and he's like, it's me, but I don't know if I want to do it, you know, like, and then he said, like, hey, maybe you can get something out of it, you know, like, hey, can I buy a new drum set? And I'm like, maybe, well, I do it, you know, like, but he, you know, like, so yeah, it's basically like exploiting whatever, like, relationships that I've had for a while, you know.
There are stories about Mexicans going abroad, but you're bringing us about a story of Rezeta, a foreigner in our own country. This is like, I would like to hear something from Rezeta and you, Fernando. Like, yeah, tell us more about this inside story of a foreigner being in Mexico.
Okay, well, I'll start now because you're okay.
Absolutely.
Because we were talking about this before. I think that for me it was already like interesting enough. Like finding her, it was like an excuse because I wanted to make this film like a light film, like with a full of kind of comment or making comments about like the reality I live, and like what could be better like to comment on it that a fish out of the water, you know, like somebody who just like is new in town, so there's like a freshness to it, like to everything, you know, like your eyes are more open to nuances and to other things, and it was like a great excuse in many ways, just like from technically to like dramatically, like the fact of like playing with two different languages, it makes like acting way easier, you know, because it just simply reduces to very basic communication, you know, like how do you say this? Oh no, this means this, you know, like so it's more like to the core, you know, and also I found like coming from Mexico and I all my life grew up there, you know, and I have like friends from like different kind of neighborhoods or realities, and then I met Rezeta and she told me about her story, so this was like a perfect excuse to make this exercise of like looking or putting my eyes into the life of these Mexicans. We were talking about that before and saying like, oh yeah, this is this girl who has like a great background, you know, like she's lived everywhere, and we talked about that because I wanted to actually like incorporate it way more into the film, you know, but there was not, in the end it didn't go that way. Yeah, I found like she's at the same time she's her, because I wanted to comment on things like macho behavior, for instance. So her being like foreigner, but also very like working from her beauty, but she had like a wider background. Like she'd live in different places, but yet she was like naive or very open or nice to these guys, you know. So,
Well, for me, going to Mexico and I was very young, and just kind of like not speaking the language and coming right after Japan, after I've lived 4 years back and forth Houston and Japan. Going to Mexico was really strange and exotic for me. And I fell in love with the country because we did have a lot of, I don't know, just, I could reflect with Mexico a lot. I don't know why, I don't know how, but I just did. And there was a lot of, I don't know, for me, like that like the families, like, they stick together and all that. It's like also the machismo, and that it's like, you know, Albanians are really machos, and like, you know what I mean? Like all those things for me just kind of like, I don't know, reflected with my own culture a little bit. And it was, like, I mean, it's real, everything you see there. And for me, I came with that innocence and like that naivety, like so young and I didn't know anything. So just seeing all that was like super exotic and cool for me. So yeah, I mean, the movie portrays that a lot, I think, and it's all the way it's showing to the audience. It was for me too, you know. Like anything, like a guy would come out to me and he's like older and cute, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, fascinated by this new guy. But yeah, I think Mexico had a lot. I mean, I grew a lot from it. I stayed there for 6 years after that. So, I mean, yeah. It's weird because I've lived in Mexico so long, so I kind of consider myself like a Mexican. I try to, because I just love it so much.
Excellent. Good to hear that. The relationship of director and a producer is, in this case, is one of a good friendship. Gerardo, what was the big challenge of working with a friend and producing a film for Fernando? Or tell us how great was it to work with him?
Well, actually, it wasn't hard at all. I mean, I became friends with Fernando maybe a year before we started doing the film. I decided to produce the film without actually having a script written. Fernando was leaving town, and I just loved his work. I was doing a documentary back then with him, and I just fell in love with the way he worked and his work ethics. So when he started telling me about the story of doing this film about this girl he knew that was named Rezeta, which I didn't know back then, I just thought, okay, let's do it. I mean, we didn't have the money. We didn't have anything except for Fernando's idea of doing this film. Just trusting a guy that I thought was pretty talented, and we became close friends before we started shooting the film. And the experience while shooting the film is one of the best experiences I've had in my life working, because all the friendship that grew in the crew, not only like in my personal case with Fernando, with Rezeta, but with the photographer, with the extras, with the editor, with the staff members. I mean, with everybody. It was just such a good chemistry and such a good vibe. So I was pretty pleased with the production when we did it, and I'm extremely happy with the final project. And this is probably going to be the first of many projects I'm going to be producing for my friend here. Yeah.
Well, now I would like to give the word to the audience. Tell us your impressions. Do you have any questions for our guests? Got it.
So, the performers were not actors. And what do you do to even out the performances? Because usually when you work with non-actors, performances are stilted or awkward or self-conscious. What do you do?
Well, I think we talked a lot, we discussed a lot, and yeah, it depending the case. Some I had to torture, so like I really like bring them down, you know, like make them out of their comfort zone, like really, so that would work, you know. Some I really like challenge, because otherwise they would like think or like take over the camera, or like others who were like really shy, you know, like praise, you know, like it's like music. You have to like learn when to give a praise to this one, but like not the other one, you know, like if you say, there's this one who reacts when you say like, oh, that was great. So next time they will like just blow it, you know, like do it like way bigger. So it's kind of like learning that, rehearsing, you know, like thinking about like formal stuff, like motivations, you know, like wants and all those things. But basically, you know, like discussing, you know, and bringing it down to what the scene is about. There's not really like big conflict scenes or like drama, you know, and so and we didn't even have like a huge like production, so I think like it was not intimidating. That's what I want to say. But some things were like some actors, like the guy who played Christopher at the beginning, he was really uncomfortable at the beginning, but I think that like that feeling, that's what I wanted to keep, you know, like that, this nervousness. So we work with it, around it. I think to respond more like concisely, I would say like each case is different, you know, like so, and it just comes down to say like, oh, this makes sense when you are saying it, you know.
Over here.
I just want to congratulate everyone. And this is a really great present for me and my boyfriend. He's from Albania and from Mexico.
Oh, wow.
But in London it's like comedy. This is what London means. I mean, everywhere, for everywhere, and things like this. But now to see this kind of film, I was very, very nostalgic, but as well my heart was young. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
And here the venue.
Well, that's the magic of cinema. Another question, please. Anyone? Again, Carlos, please.
How many days did you shoot?
23 and then additionally another 3 or 4.
There was a question actually back there also.
Yeah, it wasn't actually a question, it was just, I thought it was fantastic, it was really good. I had absolutely no idea what to expect. And the way you portrayed like, all the love and the jealousy, I think anybody who's been in a relationship can really recognise all of those assets that were going on in the film.
Thank you very much.
How can we promote the movie, or how can we, where are you showing it elsewhere? Or?
Well, that's a tough one because I think, well, this is our international premiere and we are super thankful with Raindance. But I think, I don't know how to say this, but we have, I mean, just to respond, we have a fan page on Facebook. We are trying to get national distribution in Mexico. We're trying to promote it as much as we can. I think Mexican film lives a very big moment right now, but maybe their eyes are more towards like reality, violence, or other kind of cinema. So it's been hard for us. It's a Mexican film spoken in English. So I don't know. I think it might be in living in a limbo right now, where it's hard to define where it goes. So nobody has jumped to distribute it nationally. But we are, like we're just like taking it. It's our first project as me as a writer, director, as an actress, as a producer, and mostly everyone, every head of department, the photographer, everybody is like the first project. We're taking it easy, like step by step. We started shooting in 2010. It's been a quite a long process, so we are just like trying to get it around,
And also just, to go a little bit further with your question, in order for promoting the film, and we're still doing festivals in Mexico. We're hoping to get more festival exposure and more attention outside of Mexico. We also have the website of the film, which is Rezeta the movie, and also which has been really helpful for us, I think, is the word of mouth and people tweeting about it and all that. That has got attention from a lot of festivals, a lot of people that had come see the film to the different festivals we've been. So yeah, that's always much appreciated.
I would like to add, this is what Raindance is about. This is where our efforts of promoting Mexican cinema here in the UK is about. We are very happy to have your international premiere here at Raindance, and let's hope to get you a UK distribution so that more people here in the UK can see your fantastic film. There's a question over there.
You said there was quite a lot of improvisation. I wondered how did Rezeta, did you find it to improvise if you've never acted before?
Well, I guess because depending on the scenes, I would talk a little bit. Like, for example, the kissing scene with Rohit. Like, he wasn't ready for it. You know what I mean? He wasn't ready for the kiss, and he was really nervous, and he didn't know what to do. And he's kind of like a real character in himself, So we kind of we planned. He said, let's do this kissing scene now, and he's not gonna know. Let's just kiss him right now. I said, are you sure? He's like, yeah, just do it the next take, just do it. And obviously, I went on, and I'm doing it, and I just grabbed him and I kissed him, and he's like, oh my god, and that reaction was priceless for him, and I think for the audience too, because it's natural. It's not it's not played off, and you're not planning it, and you don't know what to expect. And with many scenes, we kind of did those tricks throughout the movie, and him and I just kind of played around. I think I felt a bit more comfortable with it, maybe because I've done lots of commercials and I had lots of, experience in front of camera, so I was more open to it. Although there were scenes that, yeah, he maybe played a trick on me too, but it was mostly just trying to figure out what could be the best way to do it. And I think that was a fun part of it. And once you do it once, you kind of like release that stress, and you're like, okay, let's do it again. Let's do it again. All right, one more time. We can do it better, even better. What do you need? Do you need me to like pinch you, or what? You know what I mean? Like once every pinch has an out, so you sort of just like, I don't know, improvise on that. And
We just let the camera running.
yeah, exactly. We just like keep the camera running in certain occasions, not always, because since it was in film, we didn't have that much, time to do it. But in certain occasions, we kept it running, and we just kept doing it over and over again. And I mean, Frias I think a lot of it had to do with him, because he was the one who pushed me, or pushed the others, to get what he wanted, and where we all felt satisfied in the end. We were like, all right, that's good. I think I did it as best as I could.
Well, we have time for just one last question, please.
They say film is dead, and then you come with this great film. How was the process for you, Gerado, for all the post-production and just shooting in film, and why, Fernando, why did you push for film?
Well, first for me it was, at first I didn't like the idea of doing it on film because obviously it's more expensive. So, but Fernando and Emilio, the director of photography, really pushing me to doing it on film, precisely because it was like, film is kind of going out now, and everything it's in digital. So it was the first film for everyone. So they thought it was kind of a good way to say goodbye to film, maybe just doing film before it completely went away and doing digital. So I understood that nostalgic part of it. So yeah, I say, okay, let's do it in film, which actually I think it's way more harder, because you have just like some material. I mean, you can't go over and over and over and over in a take, which I was afraid of. But then obviously these guys did an amazing job, and I think it came out well. And also, I mean, the post-production process has just been hell for all of us, for Fernando, for myself. It's been quite a difficult time. But at the end, I mean, it's not something I regret. I kind of am thankful with Fernando for pushing me into proving doing it in film and not in digital, because I mean, it's probably once in a lifetime, which that I'm gonna do that again. No?
I think, yeah, if it wasn't this time, then when, right? So, for me, it was more. I felt like I wanted to do it, and I felt like I wanted to. I felt like I kind of owe it to Emilio, who is my very close friend, and who we have shot together. And I felt like it was just, if it was not this way, then when? And Emilio had never like shot on film, and so and we wanted to do it, like we made tests, we had shot things on a bolex, and we were like always like inheriting pieces of like short ends, and like playing, getting to fool around with like an old 35 camera, and or shooting a lot of Super 8, We just wanted to do it.
Well, thank you, Fernando. Thank you, Rezeta. Gerado.